Let's pick up on this conversation now. The battle for the ANC leadership in Gauteng is heating up. Its elective conference kicking off in Benoni today. The MECs, Panyaza, Lesufi and Lebogang Maile, are both vying for the position of Gauteng chairperson. Well, one of them joining us now is Lebogang Maile to talk us through what his vision for the country is. Mr. Maile, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with the reverberations around the country at the moment, and it's got to do with the release of the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. Should the ANC hang its head in shame?
Well, good morning, Tony. The President has received the report yesterday, and I'm sure it will be processed properly, and we should wait in anticipation to look at the content and then do an analysis and respond comprehensively and appropriately to that report. So I don't want to respond to a report I have not seen or read.
Well, Mr. Maile, it might be 1,800 pages long, but I'm sure many South Africans are beating away at it bit by bit, and that does not exclude you. You are a leader in your own right. You have the latitude to opine. You can't say that after the mess we have seen in state-owned entities that you do not have an opinion on whether or not the ANC Deployment Committee should even exist as a structure within the ANC. It's been called unlawful and unconstitutional, by the way.
Yeah, I don't believe in sound bites, Tony, and I know you like them very much. I want us to be factual when we deal with any matter. So it is on record that as the ANC, we are against corruption. As the ANC, we have said in many platforms that we support the work of the Commission and that it should help us to clarify or rectify whatever mistakes that have been committed, whether mistakes or crimes, and that those who are responsible for the crimes that would have been committed must face the consequences. There is no doubt about that. And it doesn't need any opinion. We just need to act on it. So that's why I'm saying let's look at the report, let's study the report, and let's ensure that the recommendations of the report are implemented by those who are responsible for the implementation, so that we don't grandstand. We don't grandstand and venture into discussions that we don't have a comprehension on. So I would want us plead with you to please allow the report to be processed properly. I know you would want to put us in a corner and say ANC this, ANC that, but ANC has not sent anyone to steal. If you steal, you must be arrested. There is no doubt about it. Then the ANC policy is clear. So don't create an impression that we are trying to hide anything. We will not hide anything, and we will not support anyone who is implicated in crimes as the ANC. That's not the ANC policy.
All right. Let's talk then about why we have brought you here, and that is to ask you for your vision of this province. It is the economic hub, not just of South Africa, but the southern tip of the continent of Africa. We make people come into this province because they believe that their lives could change for the better. If elected to lead this province, at least politically, what's your vision for it?
Well, if elected, I won't be working alone. I'll be working with a collective. So it's not about me, because sometimes we make a mistake of thinking that history is made by individuals, but it's not. It's made by the masses of our people. And if we want to make history and impact, we must deal with the challenges that we are facing. And there are many: poverty, unemployment, inequality. We know the economy has not been growing at the pace that it's supposed to be. There's not been creating jobs. There's been problems with ESCOM, and there are many, many, many other problems. So I think our preoccupation should be to restore the ANC to its former glory and reposition it as an organization that is able to solve the problems of our people, that lives amongst the people.
Yeah.
And an organization that must adapt to the new ways of doing things and modernize and be able to spread these tentacles in all the different sectors of our society, because, as you know, we are a multi-sectoral, a multi-class organization. But I think one of the things we have to do, especially here in Gauteng, is to ensure that we modernize at a rapid rate and we adapt to the prevailing conditions that we find ourselves in.
I'm glad you touched on that point of, quote-unquote, modernizing the ANC and perhaps how it deals in government. Do you think that young people have a reason to be enthusiastic about the ANC? I mean, I listened to radio conversations that just the other day, I was listening to a young person who was being asked which political party do they think speaks to their aspirations. We are a relatively young country, and therefore parties like yourselves, they should, I suppose, rejig in order to attract that voter base. But that person was saying, the ANC is a party of old. I don't identify with it. Do you think young people have a reason to still vote for the ANC? What is it that will attract them to it?
Well, young people are not homogeneous, only. They've got different interests. They think differently. There's different age cohorts. They come from different class backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. So it depends. It's not an equation that must be answered simplistically, yes or no. What it means is that you must understand the character of the youth of our country. What are their interests? What are their problems? And how do you solve them? And that's why at the center of dealing with this question is the strengthening of the ANC Youth League and the Progressive Youth Alliance. Because once the ANC Youth League is there to champion the interests of young people and to also politicize them about the politics of the ANC and what we stand for and mobilize them, that will make us more and more appealing to young people. But of course, we must address their issues because it's not inherent that whether old or young people will support the ANC. The ANC must fight to win the heart and minds of our people. And how do you do that? You solve their problems. It's as simple as that. So
yeah.
We don't just want the ANC Youth League to be strengthened. We want the ANC Youth League to conscientize, politicize, organize young people at different phases of our struggle. The ANC Youth League has been able to do that, and unfortunately, it was weakened in the last few years. And I think we can feel and see the void that has been left by the ANC Youth League. So one of the discussions and the tasks that this coming conference must deal with is the revival and strengthening of the ANC Youth League, of the Congress of South African Students, South African Student Congress, the Progressive Youth Alliance in its entirety, including the Young Communist League.
Okay. And part of the reason I asked you that question about young people and whether or not should be attracted to the ANC is because in the ANC language, you are seen as one of its young cohorts, one of the up-and-coming leaders who should take up the cudgels in the not-too-distant future. And perhaps the attention should be focused on you. You're saying that, no, you don't lead as an individual. While we accept that, the other important element, though, is that whoever occupies a leadership position, yes, you'll be leading as a collective, but what do you bring to the table as a leader? Why should people believe in your leadership, if elected, of course?
Yeah, well, people in the ANC, they know us because we grow up in the ANC. I mean, we have led COSAS at the highest level. As a president, we have led the ANC Youth League at different levels, at some point as a chair, as a secretary in Gauteng. We have been in government close to 20 years now, 12 of that as a member of the Executive Council. We have postgraduate qualifications. So there's quite a lot we can say, but we don't like talking about ourselves. This should be our peers or our comrades who must make a determination whether we are ready or not.
No, Mr. Maile. No. I differ with you.
Yes.
Let me differ with you. Allow me to differ with you. Allow me to differ with you. This, in a way, is a job interview. This is a job interview where you sell yourself. You sell yourself not just to the ANC, but you are selling yourself to members of the public. You are saying that this is my governance record as MEC of cooperative governance at the moment. And this is why, for example, the person, allow me to put this question to you. Allow me to put this question to you. Allow me to put this question to you.
Yes.
Kyle Tumakadla is a young boy of 6 years. The understanding is that he may no longer be with us on planet Earth. He fell into a manhole. That manhole was left open for months on end. Municipal officials come days when they hear that a child has fallen into that manhole to try and seal it. People are going to look into examples like that when they judge you on your governance record. Again, I ask the question, why is it that you think you should be the chosen one?
Let's deal with this unfortunate and devastating incident. And it's very unfortunate that every time there's such incidents, it's only then that the performance of the municipalities are brought to the fore. You will know that in terms of the constitution, our responsibility, because I don't run any municipality, probably.
You oversee
exactly. We provide oversight, we coordinate, and that is why on a quarterly basis we are able to give an account of the work we do with the municipalities. You will know this because we are in the media, to account on the work that we are doing. So to suggest that we are not doing what we are supposed to be doing, I think it's mischievous. So that is why now, Paulie, I'm saying despite the fact that we don't like talking about ourselves, I'm able to give you, and I've just given you now, that we have been in the movement for the longest of time. We've been in COSAS, in the Youth League, in the ANC structures, just said now in government, we've been an MEC for 12 years, being in 5 different departments, and fortunately with government, the records are there. You can go and see what we did in sports, you can go and see what we did in economic development, in agriculture, what we're doing now in COGTA. And by the way, just to bring you back on COGTA, you have been one of our critics when we take decisive decisions, because you will see that we are courageous. We're not scared to take decisions. When we dealt with the anarchy in Tshwane, you said it's lawlessness, you said we are constitutional delinquent and all that. But go and read the Concord judgment and you will realize that we are correct and that the decisiveness.
That's not exactly what the court said. The court didn't say you were correct.
No, you didn't.
Unless you want to go into the detail.
No, we can. You didn't read the judgment. That's the point. And that's why I'm deliberately bringing this issue, because I know you guys in the media, you don't read. You just look at the headlines and sound bites.
That's a very dangerous assumption.
No, it's not dangerous. It's factual, because you have not read now. I can tell you now that you have not read that judgment. But you believe that the judgment was against us. So I'm bringing the judgment just to show you, clearly, because you guys have got views and opinions about who must lead the ANC, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong, but it becomes unfair to then impose your views on society. You must engage us honestly and
that is why I'm exactly doing that. And that is why I'm doing that. But let's wrap up the conversation, Mr. Maile, and that is precisely why I'm saying to you, I'm challenging you to say that's not exactly what the court's judgment said. It didn't say that you were correct.
Okay, let me tell you what
the court
said. Let me tell you what the court said. You know what the court said? There were 10 judges. And you will know that in the court ordinarily there's 11 judges. But the current judge president was busy with the commission. So there was one judge who was supported
very
by 4
briefly,
judges.
I have to wrap. Just take us straight to the point.
But no, the court said we were correct. But the difference is that the other judgment was saying we were too harsh, and the other judgment was saying we were on point. That's what it said in brief. And I could take you through the different judges who were there. So
we'll bring you here another time
and deal with the issue in detail.
Indeed. We'll bring you another time. Thank you very much for your time. That's Lebogang Maile, who is the Cooperative Governance MEC in Gauteng, vying for the position of ANC chairperson.